Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina and welcome back to the channel. Today we're making a card using a cover plate die to make two different style cards. The die I'm using is by Gina. It's called the Basket Weave Cover Plate, and I die cut it onto a piece of 110-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. The cardstock was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I made sure to center my die in the center of that piece of cardstock so I can use the frame later on in my card. I used some low-tack tape to take my die cut piece and tape it down to another piece of Neenah cardstock. I'm using the die cut as a stencil to blend in 3 different colors of Simon Says Stamp ink. I'm using Melon, Cantaloupe, and Sherbet. I'm starting with the Melon, which is the lighter of the 3 colors, down in the bottom right-hand corner so I can blend up at an angle. I'm going to move to the second darkest color, which is Cantaloupe, and I'm going to blend that in the center of my cardstock, also overlapping my lighter color, and then I'll end with the darker color of Sherbet in the upper corner and blend that into the Cantaloupe color to create an ombre effect. I'm going to remove the low tack tape, and now I'll have 2 different backgrounds. One we created by blending onto our die cut piece, and one we created using the die cut piece as a stencil. I'm going to take the frame that was left behind after I die cut my cover plate, and I'm going to ink that up using the darker of the 3 colors of inks. This is the Sherbet ink, and I'm just blending that on all 4 sides so I can cover the entire frame. I'm going to add some 2-sided tape to the back of the frame. I like to use my pick for weeding vinyl to help pull off the backing of the tape. Sometimes I just can't seem to grab it, and using this will help peel that away. Once I have all of the backs removed from my double-sided tape, I'm going to adhere this down to an A2 size card. That's a piece of cardstock that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at 5 1/2 inches. Once I have this adhered down, I am going to have to trim it just to make sure that I don't have any of the white from my card base showing through. I'm going to start with my die cut piece. I'm just adding some dot adhesive to the back of this and then inlaying that in the frame. So I'm putting back together my piece of cardstock from when I die cut it. Once I have that one put together, I'm going to start creating my card base for my second card. I'm taking the stencil background that I created using the cover plate and adhering that to a piece of black cardstock. I cut the black cardstock to be about a fraction of an inch bigger than the stenciled piece. I'm going to start working on the sentiments for both of my cards. I'm using a Simon Says stamp set called Garden Boots, and I'm using the Happy Birthday and Sending Love sentiments. I'm going to use my Misty stamp press to stamp both of my sentiments onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock. I'm going to use my embossing bag so I can take away any static or oils from my hands, and I'm going to stamp out my 2 sentiments using my black VersaFine ink. I like to use this ink especially if I'm going to be doing any embossing. It does take a little bit of time for it to dry, so it'll give me time to go ahead and add my embossing powder. I'm going to stamp this out twice just to make sure I have a nice crisp, dark stamped image. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to emboss this using some clear embossing powder. I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp Clear Ultrafine Embossing Powder. I'm just using a piece of copy paper so I can funnel my leftover embossing powder back into the jar. I'm going to heat set this using my heat tool, and then I'm going to go ahead and die cut these using the coordinating dies that match the sentiments. I'm going to use my low tack tape to hold my dies in place while I run this through my die cutting machine. Once I have my sentiments cut out, I'm adding some foam tape to the back and adhering those to the front of my cards. And then my final touch will be to add some crystals. I'm using the Little Things Crystal Collection in Peachy. I love these colors. It's a combination of a peach and cream color. There's also some heart-shaped crystals in here as well, so I'm adding that to my Sending Love sentiment along with some of the peach and pearl colors as well. I'm just gluing those down using some of my Barely Craft glue as well as my jewel picker so I could pick up my gems and put them in place. I love this picker because it makes it so much easier to pick up those little tiny pieces and place them down. I'm also going to add those same gems to our happy birthday sentiment, which has our stenciled background. That'll be our card for today. I hope you found today's video helpful, and all of the supplies that I used in today's video are down below in the YouTube description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.